You ever get that feeling you're not alone, even when you should be? It starts small. A floorboard creaks upstairs when you're the only one home. A shadow flickers in your peripheral vision, but when you turn, there's nothing there. You brush it off, right? It's just your house settling. It's just your eyes playing tricks on you. That's what I used to tell myself. It began a few months ago in my new apartment. I got a great deal on it, almost too good to be true. The landlord was a bit strange, really eager to get me to sign the lease. He mentioned the previous tenant left in a hurry. Didn't think much of it at the time. The first week was normal. Unpacking boxes, getting used to the layout. But then the nights started getting weird. I'd be lying in bed and I'd hear a sound, a soft rhythmic tapping. Not from the pipes, not from the neighbors. It sounded like it was coming from inside my own walls. Tap, tap, tap. I'd get up, press my ear against the plaster, and it would stop. The moment I lay back down, it would start again. It was maddening. I started sleeping with headphones on just to drown it out. Then came the cold spots. You know how a room can have a draft? This wasn't that. This was a sudden, bone-chilling cold that would just appear in a random spot. I'd be walking from the living room to the kitchen and pass through a patch of air that felt like a freezer. It would be gone in a second. I bought a thermometer and checked, but the temperature was always stable. My friend said I was just stressed from the move. Maybe they were right. But the thing that really set me on edge was the clock. There was this old, ugly wall clock left behind by the previous tenant. It was one of those analog ones with the big, sweeping second hand, and it was broken. It was stuck, permanently, at 2:17. I tried changing the batteries, winding it, everything. Nothing. It was just a piece of junk. I meant to throw it away, but I kept forgetting. One night, I woke up with a jolt. I had this overwhelming sense of dread. I checked my phone. It was 2:16 a.m. As I stared at the screen, the numbers flipped to 2:17. And at that exact moment, from the living room, I heard it. A single, loud, metallic tick. My blood ran cold. I crept out of bed, my heart pounding in my chest. I peered into the living room. The old broken clock, the second hand was moving. It swept around the face one full rotation, and then, as it hit the 12, it stopped. Right back at 2:17, I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, I told my friend Sarah about it. She's into all that paranormal stuff. Instead of calling me crazy, she got really serious. She said times like 2:17 could be significant, that spirits can attach themselves to objects or times of day that were important to them. She suggested I do some research on the apartment building, so I did. I went down to the local library and spent hours digging through old newspapers and city records. The building was old, built in the late 1920s. For a while, I found nothing. Just old property deeds and building permits. Then I found it. A small article from a local paper, dated October 31st, 1958. It was about a man who lived in my exact apartment unit, number 3B. His name was Arthur Penn. He was a watchmaker, a recluse. Neighbors said he was quiet, kept to himself. One night, they heard a commotion. The police were called. They found Arthur. He had died of a heart attack. The coroner's report listed the time of death, estimated from when his own pocket watch had stopped. 2:17 a.m. Suddenly, everything clicked into place. The tapping a watchmaker, working late into the night. The clock a constant reminder of his final moments. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold spots in my apartment. I wasn't just living in an old apartment. I was living in Arthur Penn's tomb. After that discovery, things escalated. The tapping became more insistent. The cold spots were more frequent, and I started seeing things. Fleeting shadows that moved against the light. A flicker of movement in the corner of my eye. I tried to ignore it, to rationalize it. It was the old wiring. It was the wind. It was anything but a ghost. One evening I was cleaning out a small closet, and my hand brushed against a loose piece of plaster on the back wall. It crumbled away, revealing a small, dark cavity inside. My curiosity got the better of my fear. I reached inside, my fingers brushing against something old and brittle. I pulled it out. It was a small stack of old sepia-toned photographs tied together with a string. They were dusty, and the air filled with the smell of decay. The photos were of a young woman. She was beautiful with a sad smile. In every photo, she was wearing a delicate silver locket. On the back of the last photo, there was a handwritten note. It said, "My Eleanor." Lost, but never forgotten. I realized these must have belonged to Arthur. This was his lost love. As I was looking at the photos, I heard the front door creak. I froze. I knew I had locked it. I always locked it. Slowly, deliberately, the door began to swing shut. It wasn't a draft. It was a slow, measured movement, as if an unseen hand was pushing it. It closed with a soft click, plunging the hallway into near darkness. My heart was a jackhammer against my ribs. I was trapped. I backed away from the door, fumbling for my phone to use as a light. As I raised it, the screen illuminated the hallway, and in the large mirror hanging on the wall, I saw it. It wasn't my reflection, or rather, it was... But standing directly behind me, almost touching my shoulder, was a tall, faint silhouette. A man's figure, hazy and indistinct, like heat rising from pavement. I couldn't see a face, just an outline. But I knew with a certainty that terrified me to my core that it was him. It was Arthur. I didn't scream. I couldn't. The sound was caught in my throat. I just stood there, paralyzed, staring at the reflection. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, watching me. I felt its coldness seeping into my back. I felt its sorrow, its loneliness, its unending repetition of a life cut short. He wasn't malicious, he was just stuck, and I was stuck with him. I don't know how long I stood there. It could have been seconds or hours. Eventually, I managed to stumble backward away from the mirror and scrambled into my bedroom, slamming the door shut and shoving a dresser in front of it. I'm recording this now from my room. The tapping has started again, but it's louder now. It's not in the walls anymore. It's on my bedroom door. Tap, tap, tap. He knows I'm in here. He knows I found his photos. I don't know what he wants. Maybe he wants his locket back. Maybe he just wants a friend. Or maybe he wants to make sure I never leave him, just like Eleanor did. The clock in the living room just ticked. Once, it's 2:17 a.m. I think he's getting impatient. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to make it to morning. If you're watching this, don't ever rent apartment 3B. Don't make the same mistake I did.